Hey podcast, just before we get you to this episode, I wanted to invite you to join us at pageantlaunch.com. We are starting the world's first dedicated pageant review site, and we want you to join our launch team. All you need to do is put in your email address. It's completely free. We are looking to make the pageant industry safe, transparent, and fair, and we'd love your input on how to do that. So head over to pageantlaunch.com, whack in your email address, and let's get you to this episode.
My name is Cassie Van Zeyl. I'm a 2020 national finalist for the Miss Australia Pageants, and we are here with Pageant Projects.
G'day everyone, it's Adrian from the Pageant Project, and I have Cassie Van Zeyl, not Van Zeyl, as she corrected me. I like getting my names right. Cassie, welcome to the show.
Oh, sorry, could you repeat that?
Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. It's an absolute pleasure.
And it's a pleasure to have you, as you're the first person from the Miss Australia pageants that we've had, that I've had on the show. It's a relatively new system. Just before we get to that, we've got a bunch of people watching. So if you haven't watched one of my interviews before, whatever you put in the comments, Cassie will be able to see, and I may be able to bring them on stream as well, such as this one here. Is there someone that you know, Cassie?
Yes, that's one of my girls. Hi, Lulu.
Another one here.
Oh, that's her mum.
Oh.
Hello, gorgeous. Oh, they're so supportive. How sweet.
And here's another one here. I don't even have to do the interview. I'm just going to play your comments.
Oh, this is so sweet. I love that. I just love how you can see everyone's comments. It's so encouraging, and it's very relaxing too when you know you've got friends and family supporting you. Oh, she's from school. Hello, Roz. Oh my gosh, she's gorgeous as well. This is so lovely.
Look at this. I don't have to say anything.
Oh, how sweet. No, this is just, I'm so overwhelmed. It's just lovely. Lovely to be on air with you today, and it's so lovely that we've got so much support.
That's a world record. You're overwhelmed within the first 2 minutes. That we're setting some world record there. One here.
Oh, that's so sweet. It's my partner's mum. Hi, Louise. And my sister was before. Hi, Belle.
Funny, out of the people that we've had commenting so far, both Roz and Louise have dogs as their profile photos.
They do. We're all dog lovers. Actually,
pug. That's a pug, isn't it? And this one is what is that? Is it a border collie?
Yeah, it's two. I am good. I mean, I've got a German Shorthair Pointer. And oh my goodness, Louise is probably going to kill me because I can't think of the combination. We actually researched it. We paid, I don't know what the organization's called, but you can dive into the gene pool and figure out, where they're actually generated from. Yeah, like what parts and breeds. It's pretty cool, actually. I don't know what the website's called, but she's beautiful. Well, he's beautiful. My bubba's gorgeous. And I think Roz loves her pugs. She's very passionate.
You've got a hi from Chicago.
Oh, how random. Hello. I must be some Instagram friends. That's so lovely. Actually, it's so funny you say that, Chicago. I was actually thinking about what's the last thing that I was able to do in Melbourne in relation to musicals. I actually saw the musical Chicago at the Arts Centre. Yeah, I was just thinking, just having a little flashback moment, and obviously today's, well, I'd say one of the most positive days Melbourne's had so far, because we now have 92 cases, and although we have had a lot of deaths, which is, obviously very, very sad, I think today's looking up and the weather's beautiful. So I think everyone in Melbourne's feeling a bit more optimistic, given we're 3 weeks into lockdown, well, 3 weeks in and 3 more to go.
I mean, we're also going into summer, which I figured's got to help. I mean, for those people who are watching who aren't probably from Australia, wouldn't know, people in Melbourne actually have a curfew. They're literally not. You're not allowed outside after 8 p.m. Is it 8 p.m.?
Yeah, 8 p.m. We have to stay indoors, and then we've got an hour of exercise that we can do during the day, any given time. Especially the dogs, they need it. And I feel like they need an extra hour, especially mine. But no, only an hour of exercise, curfews at 8, and then only have the 4 reasons to leave home. Yeah.
Yeah. Which
so it's pretty intense.
For Australia, it's unheard of. I mean, I'm from Sydney. I can't imagine what having a curfew is like.
It's pretty bizarre. Yeah, Melbourne's so big on nightlife, and I know my girlfriends and I, we spend every weekend out Chapel Street, and we're always out and about, especially, during the summer months down at St Kilda. It's just such a lively scene. It's so nice to be involved, I suppose, in the community, especially during summertime. So many festivals and fun events and expos, and none of that's possible currently. So it's a big shift for everyone.
I feel sorry for festival organizers. I mean, I feel sorry for people, but festival organizers. 2020 has not been a good year for you. But you mentioned the cases are down under 100 now. I mean, it still sounds a lot, but compared to where it was,
I think over 700. Yeah.
Yeah.
So no, it's a big difference. I know I woke up and I read the news and I felt more optimistic today. And I think my mum messaged me this morning saying that the school kids, in Victoria, hopefully, fingers crossed, allowed back for term 4, given protests don't go ahead. So fingers crossed, because I'm a school teacher and I miss my beautiful year 2s, and I really look forward to going back into the classroom. And I know they're all going a little bit crazy with the whole homeschooling situation. I've never heard kids say how much they miss me ever in my 5 years of being a teacher. I love you every day. I miss you, Cassie. I want to be back in the classroom. My brother's annoying me. I need some space. I get some bizarre messages.
In year 2, they're saying this. Wow, they start.
Yes. They're very opinionated. You'd be surprised. And they're also extremely charming. If you're having a bad day, it takes 20 seconds for them to put a smile back on your face. That's the best thing about being a teacher. You are completely involved in their aura and their emotion, and you feel everything they feel, and you feel quite connected to them, but they're very honest. So it's lovely. You can always be yourself in front of them. You don't have to put a fake facade up, when you're in the classroom. It's a really beautiful connection with the kids. Well, I find that. Love my job.
I'm just going to go through a few comments and then I'll ask you about...
that's my mum. Hello, mum. Oh, she's so sweet.
Louise here has said it's cross
yes.
Poodle.
Thank you, Louise. Oh, my goodness. I just couldn't think. He's gorgeous. Oh, that's my brother. Thanks, Brandon. A bit of support. I actually sent him personalised cupcakes yesterday to his door.
Is Brandon the really, really tall one? Or the... I was going to say, are they really, really tall? The other guy is really, really short. I can't tell, but...
No, my brother would definitely have the most comments about height that I've ever come across, especially when we go clubbing and we go out. You'd be surprised how many comments we do get, but he's very popular.
How tall is he? He looks like something like
that. Yeah, I think he's just over that. I'm actually short in my family, believe it or not, and I'm 174 centimeters tall. But no, I know in centimeters. But Brandon's definitely got the tall genetics in the family, and then Uncle Glenn's even taller than him. So we definitely come from, I think maybe it's our Dutch heritage, possibly. I'm not sure how that's turned. Maybe it's my grandpa, because he was quite tall, and then genetics, worked their way down. So who knows?
Hey, well, being tall is very useful in pageant land. It might not be useful for some other things, but being tall is an advantage in pageant land. Cassie, you mentioned teaching. So you said, was it year 2s that you're teaching? So they're about 8, 9?
Yeah, some are 8, and then some you get the occasional 9. Yeah. No, but it's a beautiful age. It's a very easy age, I think, to, kind of instill all the morals as well. They're in a very open-minded thought process, I think. It's a really, I don't know, it's my favourite year so far, as in I love any kid that comes into my grade. I'm going to enjoy teaching them. I just think with year 2s, it's a pretty easy, relaxed, like you've gone through prep, they know all the basics. You get to year 1, you start embedding all the literacy and numeracy programs. You come to year 2, it's kind of that year where you can start tweaking. So, yeah, no, I absolutely adore the year twos. I feel like they love my dad jokes and they get my humour more than the older kids, but it's definitely my go-to year for sure.
What made you decide to get into teaching? I mean, I've worked with young kids quite a lot, and I can tell you it's not for everyone. It certainly takes a lot of patience, and I think you really need to love it. So what made you decide to go into teaching?
Oh, it's a great question. I think that there's so many answers to that too. It stems from, a love of children. I mean, I've been working with kids for 14 years. So I have been a before and after school coordinator down at Haileybury. I was at a private school with Camp Australia. And I've been a swimming instructor. I've been an integration aide. And I've been, working, I think, I would say it's about 14 years now. But the reason that I decided to get into teaching was because when I was in primary school, honestly, I didn't have a very pleasant time. I thought my year 3 and year 4 teacher, they weren't very kind and caring. I felt like they, put down the students. And I still remember it to this day, to be honest, that it wasn't a very pleasant experience in the classroom. And I just thought, what if when I grow up, I can be a teacher that gives those kids that stability, that love, that genuine, I care about you and, want to see you excel. And it was very, very interesting. When I grew up, I thought, what do I want to do with my life? Because for me, I always thought, my connection to the world was kids. And I'd gone through all the different being swimming teacher and integration aide and every role that I've played since I've grown up has always been with kids. It started back when I was babysitting my next door neighbours' kids. And I think I wanted to be able to create an atmosphere in a classroom where, the kids love coming to school. Because I love school. I love being educated. My mum's very big on, being educated. And she, has always taught me how important it is to excel your knowledge. And I feel that, I don't think I had a very nice experience back when I was in year 4, and I just thought if I could change that for, the amount of kids that I teach during the rest, the next 10 years or so, what a great difference that would make in the world. So if one person can change somebody else's educational experience, then that's a positive. So I feel like there's heaps of reasons, but I just think that with kids, they're so much fun. And I feel like I'm a little kid myself. I'm very bubbly, very energetic. I talk a lot and they can all keep up with me.
Cassie, did you have your sash on? There you go.
I did. It's fallen off through my passion. I'm knocking it around, getting excited.
That's one thing sashes are not very good at during interviews.
I know.
They tend to slide
I need a
off.
pin.
Yeah. Cassie, we hear a lot about bullying in school, and I'm just curious, given that you're working with the year 2s, which everyone would agree is quite young.
It is,
Does that become a problem at that age? Does it become more of a problem later? Or how is it moving?
In my classroom, I don't create an environment where it's possible. I feel like, as in within the classroom from the start of the year, I've set up such a strong base of, caring for one another. And I think it also comes down to the environment that you give the children. So if you've set up a classroom and you have modeled and showed them what it looks like when you do hurt someone's feeling, and you show them through actions, through words, different type of illustrations, you start recreating their idea of what it is, to be a kind and caring person, and how you don't want to be the bully. You don't want to be perceived as that person. So I think when you create ideologies and you start, showing them different ways of caring for people and the effects of caring and what it looks like, and it's almost like I think with the year 2s or any year level, if you really connect with your children and you really build a rapport with them, then you can teach them anything that you want. And I think bullying in my classroom, or even in year 2, I think it's going to differ on a case-to-case, basis. But if you, as a teacher or even as a parent, if you invest enough time in those children, teaching them and showing them, what right and wrong looks like, then I don't think you're going to find that it's going to happen as often as you think. So yes, of course, it's possible. You're always going to have, differing personalities. You're going to have students, kids that come from really diverse backgrounds that perhaps have experienced that at home. They might bring it to school, not understand what they're really doing, but they're going to be sharing or showing what happens at home comes to school, basically. But you can, as a teacher, redirect that. So I feel like, yes, it is going to happen in different ways, but I guess it's up to the teacher to kind of jump on top of that straight away and try to, change their mindset and show them a different pathway. So differing on a case-to-case basis, but I think that it's definitely a more well-known subject, and I don't think it's as prevalent in the younger years, but definitely, obviously, yeah, as you get older, opinions form, it's different. But in year 2, I think it's, it depends. But yeah, as I said, as a teacher, I hate the thought of that even happening. So I'm very stern on it in my grade, for sure. Yeah.
When you're teaching kids that are that young, I mean, obviously you're teaching them how to read, how to write, all those sorts of really, really important things. But you also mentioned the importance of sort of teaching them the right values. And I know that a lot of the Mrs. contestants who I've interviewed have young children who are probably in about year 2, maybe a little bit younger. For those parents and just for people watching, what would you say are the most important values that a teacher or a parent can actually pass on to that younger generation? Because that sets them up, in my mind. I mean, knowledge is one thing, but the values and the morals of those young ones when they become teenagers, when they become adults, I think is just as important, if not even more important, than the knowledge they have in their head. So from your experience, what sort of values have been most important to you in sort of impressing on that sort of age group?
Yeah, absolutely. I feel that for me, resilience is huge. I think that to be taught that failing or making mistakes is a negative is a big no-no. So resilience is all about, making mistakes. And I encourage my kids day in and day out, make mistakes, make as many as you want, because it is going to help shape and form you as a person. And if, you do make mistakes, then that's going to, it's going to shape your perspective on the world. You're going to think, wait a second, I've made the mistake. I'm not going to do that again. Or I've made that mistake. Great. I'm going to take something from that mistake and do something with it. So it's like in science experiments. Yes, there is mess all the time in the classrooms. We love it. But of course, with mistakes comes, it just comes big learning curves. So resilience in my classroom is huge, because I don't want kids to think that because they've made that mistake that they failed, that they don't have the confidence or the ability, to correct that mistake or to do better on that maths test or, I suppose what I'm trying to say is that it's like that song, you get knocked down, but I get up again. It's just about getting back up and then, that's the first thing I think. I taught my kids that song and they were singing it for weeks.
That song has quite a few lyrics about drinking. I can just imagine year 2s talking about drinking whiskey, drink vodka, drink lager, drink.
Oh my goodness. Well, I remixed it, child friendly, but I guess it's being strong, being a strong person. Resilience is important, as in we don't ever want kids to think because they've made a mistake that they failed. It's absolutely the opposite thing. So that's big. And I feel honesty is as well. I've always said to my kids, if they, let's just say that they have stolen something, or if they've made the wrong choice, they've hurt someone's feelings, they've pushed or they've just done something that's quite out of character, I'll always say to them, you can't get in trouble with me for being honest, because the only time you are going to, going to get a sad face from me is if you've lied. So honesty is huge. And I've always, been brought up with that as well, especially mum. She's always big on, being an honest person, not lying, being true to yourself. It's always around the same ballpark. But yes, resilience, being honest. And I think kindness is huge. I mean, I'm certainly a very kind person. I'm always thinking of other people. I do love my friends and my family. So I think that something I bring in the classroom as well, caring about each other. I mean, I say to my kids, we're like a family, because that's what it's like. It's like the pageant community. You become a family. I mean, I've met so many amazing girls during my pageant journey, but I mean, I apply everything that I do in the classroom into my general everyday life, and kindness is huge. One comment on someone's Instagram page can literally change their mood.
Yeah. It's interesting you mentioned those 3 values, because resilience, honesty, and being kind, I don't think that ever goes out of fashion. no matter what age you are.
No.
The sash on, the sash has gone again, Cass.
I'm going to be investing in pins.
If there's one tip I can give you about pageantry, it's safety pin.
Well, I'll certainly be doing that.
Around a billion safety pins. Georgia here has written that you're an inspiration, Cassie.
Oh, thanks, Georgia. That's beautiful. Oh, she's gorgeous, but she's my inspiration as well. She is a champion. And I think that's actually sent Georgia flowers 2 weeks ago just to say hang in there with lockdown, because for a lot of girls in general, I think it's hard. We're not seeing our friends, and we're social butterflies. I know my group is, so it's so unusual. I know, Georgia, it's such a weird time. It's hard not being able to see your friends. Virtually, yes, but to be able to give them an actual hug. I mean, people sometimes undervalue hugs, and I think hugs are the best thing. I love hugs. I give you a hug too now, but you're all the way in Sydney.
It's very tough during lockdown. I mean, there have been so many different stories. I mean, people being isolated, mental health is an issue. Then you have people who can't see their partners, and then you hear all these horrible stories about people passing away, and you can't even be next because of corona.
It's very intense. Yeah.
2020 has. I keep saying I thought 2020 would be different, but I think sometimes you need to be a bit more specific about what you mean by different, because it's certainly different, but not in a way that I think any of us would like. Cassie, so that you talked about teaching, obviously that's a huge part of your life.
Yeah.
So you mentioned pageantry. So how did the pageant journey get started?
Oh, my goodness. I feel like there are so many answers to that question. It's like I have category A, B, C. But I'll probably start, I'll start here. So my mum was part of the pageant world. So she was she was a runners-up for Miss Junior Victoria. And that would have been back when she was 18. So I can't even think of the year that was. But she had a very modest, blue gown on in her pageant, and she always used to talk about it. It was just a conversation that would come up over the dinner table. And she, would talk about how important confidence is. And I mean, my mum in general has been my biggest role model for everything in life, but her confidence is mind-blowing. I have always been extremely envious of it, and I always thought, gosh, I hope I can make my mum proud one day. Get up on stage and walk with the confidence that she would have, because there is nothing that she can't do. She has been so passionate as well over the last, she's been working in the aquarium industry for 30 years. So background, our family owned an aquarium factory for I think it was over 10 years. And so we had, Finding Nemo and Blue Tang, which is Dory. And we did have a couple of Bruces, but I didn't want to take those home. But our whole family were involved in this aquarium factory. And so my mum, being as passionate as she was, didn't have an issue getting on camera for Totally Wild. And she's always been on a lot of TV shows, Harry's Practice. She's just always been in the light of cameras. And I love that. I love that she was just so, willing to put herself out there, do what she loves, be passionate, and not hold back. I love that she was so passionate about something, and, she took it that extra step. So I think her passion and her confidence inspired me. That's number one. And then there's a whole range of other reasons that I'll go into. But just quick question for you. How do you feel about sharks?
I'm fine with sharks. It doesn't necessarily mean I want to jump in an aquarium and ride on one, but I don't have the irrational fear of sharks, so I'm good.
That's fantastic. Yes, I'm still mortified to this day about sharks. I still can't believe I watched Jaws. It's a very scary movie. Not a fan. Especially the remote control behind the scenes. It freaked me out even more. I think my mum's definitely one of my biggest inspirations in the pageant world. Even though she's, an icon of the past, it's still, important in the present for me. I take that past and want to bring it here. And I'm 27 this year, so I thought, Mum did it when she was 18. I'm a little bit behind the ball. But hey, I jumped into it this year in 2020. So for me, there's been positives as well, because it's, it's not something I ever thought I would get into really. But another reason is, sounds really bizarre, but when I was 18, everyone had their debutante, and I had an opportunity to land my first job working at a supermarket. And the rehearsal for the debutante was every Wednesday night, and the only shift that Richie Super IGA were going to give me was Wednesday night, of course. And so when you're younger and you get a job opportunity, that first chance, to start saving money, you think, gosh, wearing the dress versus the money. And you think, oh, but I want to be, I want to be pretty. I want to be a princess for the night, And so I guess I chose working at the supermarket because, I wanted to get money behind me. Mum's always like, got to get a house, got to get a car, got to get yourself motivated. So I gave up my opportunity to be, pretty for the night in that way. I never got the chance to put on the big white dress or, so I kind of thought, being a bit older, I didn't get to do my debutante, but hey, why not compete in a pageant? Have my chance to, get all dressed up and, feel pretty for pretty on stage, etc. But the biggest thing that actually grabbed me and put me into the pageant world was fundraising. That's where it mainly started. It started with Miss World originally because, I'd come across, the first pageant, and they were so heavily involved working with Variety Children's Charity. And of course, I just thought, I'd love to be involved in this. It's the first thing that hooked me. I thought, I want to fundraise, I want to be able to take my love from in the classroom and extend it outwards and see if I can do something, with my personality, put it out there into the world. And when they accepted me, I was so excited. I thought, oh my goodness, my pageant journey's begun. This is so exciting. I've never done a pageant. And my first thought of pageant world was Miss Congeniality, obviously not a CIA agent. But that was my first thought. And it's funny because at the start of the movie, she's got all these preconceived ideas about what the pageant world is. And when she actually dives in there and she creates friendships and she gets to know, the girls and their lives and, how much energy and time it takes to actually, be involved in the journey and, the work that goes into it, the routines, the practice, she starts appreciating it. And so I feel like for me, being in the pageant world is a good opportunity to tell people it's actually so much more than, being attractive. It's about confidence and it's about friendships and sisterhood. And it's so important, I think, that people understand that it's not easy to get up on stage and to walk up and down and to talk about yourself. And, public speaking is a whole nother skill in itself. So I feel like I definitely wanted to be able to, talk to people about how, the pageant world's really changed, and it's really more about supporting, the sisterhood and encouraging your girlfriends to get up on stage, be confident, pursue their dreams. It opens up doors that you never would have thought because you meet people that you never thought you'd meet, and then all these new opportunities, come up.
Yeah.
I feel like that was a very little segment in my brain. You're taking it in, aren't you?
It's amazing that you have those different reasons and you can quantify it in your head. Carrie here, so the one over in Chicago, Carrie, I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly. She's asking, how has quarantine affected your reign so far?
Oh, gosh, that's a great question. One sec, my love, I'm losing my headpiece. You know what? It was really, I'll tell you, this was really hard for me to swallow. Because when we were just being put into, quarantine, it was about 2 weeks before that where I had organised a fundraising event. It was a glitz and glamour event, and it took me 6 months to plan. I had over 40 sponsors, a collaboration of people making cookies, and I had magicians. I had celebrities coming. I worked really, really hard. I would have emailed maybe 300 people. I spent hours on the phone trying to get people behind me for the Variety Children's Charity, which is associated with the Miss World. That was my first fundraising event. And yes, 6 months. 6 months went into that, and I had all the tickets organised, and I would have raised $15,000 on the night, and I had to cancel it. So for me, it was really upsetting because of the kids, all this money and all this work and all my extra time. I mean, this is something I just did for, you know, it was a hobby on the side, but it was also, you know, it was making a difference for the kids. So that was hard, because I really, really wanted that event to go ahead for the kids. And just because, you know, all my friends and family, and then people, you know, third-party people came in and just wanted to be a part of such a special event. So that was devastating for me, for the kids. And moving forward, now that I'm, you know, in Miss Australia Pageants, you know, 2020, I actually organised another fundraising event associated with the National Breast Cancer Foundation, which is, you know, Miss Australia Pageant's sponsor. Well, sorry, a charity sponsor, like, you know, that we raise money for. And again, you know, I have organised this magnificent event. I thought the first part, you know, or the first fundraising event that I'd organised, I thought I have to put that to side, try focus on the future, because it, you know, the opportunity passed, and it, you know, we put all the money towards the charity. But then this one's come up, and I've got it ready to go. I've got the brochures, I've got the sponsors on board. They're all waiting for the, you know, let's go, because I want to be able to start, you know, raising money for the Breast Cancer Foundation. And again, it's just, we're waiting on its day-to-day reports, and I still, it's still so, it's difficult. It's difficult because, you know, for me, I have such a passion for organising events and getting people together and involving the community. You know, I've got the Herald Sun involved, and I've started, well, the Herald Sun in Australia is just like, you know, a big newspaper, but I've got media behind me. I've got so many people behind me, but there's nothing I can do given the whole COVID-19 situation. So it's definitely affected my fundraising heaps. And she did ask, and now that I'm thinking about it, we've just been told with the Miss World Australia that it's gone online. So we actually have to pre-record ourselves walking up and doing the catwalk, and then we have to video ourselves doing questions and answers. And so everything's online now. I don't know about Miss Australia Pageants yet, because we're still waiting on that. So it's all up in the air.
It's day to day. You don't know. It depends a lot what country you're in, but then even in Australia, it depends what state you're in, because obviously you guys are complete lockdown with a curfew, whereas New South Wales is kind of more under control. And then you basically got places like Western Australia and Northern Territory, who they're pretty good, but they just don't want any of us to go there. So you don't know. I think it's day by day.
It's so hard.
So you've got the fundraiser for the Breast Cancer Foundation. Is that ready to go, and you're just waiting for the opportunity?
Yeah, no, I've got my sponsors with, you know, they've made the brochures. I have this digital manager that works on all of my, you know, digital merchandising per se. And I've got all these gorgeous people from the bakery, and they're just so keen to make all these biscuits that are themed with breast cancer ribbons, and everyone's so excited to get behind me. In fact, I must say I'm extremely overwhelmed with the support that I've actually had in my community. I really never would have thought that I would have so many people reach out and want to be a part of my journey. I mean, I have this beautiful hairdresser, her name's Sharon from Salon 11, and she was the first sponsor that ever approached me. And she was so kind and so caring and beautiful. And she said, I'd like to sponsor you the entire time throughout your whole reign. And I was like, oh my goodness. Because again, like that includes, you know, coloring my hair, making it look fabulous all the time. So I just was so shocked. And then the makeup artist jumped on board, and she lived around the corner from her. And then I had a cookies. It just was so bizarre. It was like a domino effect. And I was like, oh my goodness. I was just so taken back. It was so beautiful. So my community is really lovely. Like in Melbourne in general, like we have such a beautiful city. Everyone's very generous, caring, and they want to help out.
So you mentioned that you started your pageant journey in Miss World Australia. Yeah. And obviously Miss World, both Miss World and Miss Universe are probably the two household names that most ordinary people would know. How did you get involved with Miss Australia pageants, though? Because that's brand new, so no one really would have heard of it. How did you get involved with Miss Australia pageants?
So a couple of my friends in the pageant world, because I'd started my journey originally with Miss World, they had said to me, you know, have you heard of Miss Australia pageants? And I said, no, I haven't actually. And so when, you know, I did my research and I jumped on Instagram, I thought, okay, this is fantastic. I have another opportunity to, you know, to make new friends, to get involved in fundraising and have a separate journey as well. And I thought Breast Cancer Foundation, this is a really important one that I'd really love to get involved. I was super passionate about it. I have been for a long time. And I had only just done the breast cancer run, actually, which was ironic. I actually couldn't believe that. I thought, oh, this is bizarre. So I ended up applying and I thought, you know, what have I got to lose? I thought at the end of the day, like everything that the pageant world has brought me has been positive. I haven't had any negative experiences. It's been very kind and caring, and my girls that have supported me the whole way through really helped my confidence just in general. You know, I feel like I can do anything when I've got, you know, friends behind me that are also in the same boat, facing the same challenges per se, you know, with body confidence or whatever it may be. It's so important to have someone saying, you know what, you're beautiful just the way you are, and to, you know, believe in yourself and just to be kind to yourself. I think the pageant world definitely teaches you a lot of lessons, and you do go through different thought processes on, you know, what to expect, you know, but I think the main thing is that you've got to love yourself for you, and it does not matter that you're competing with different people, because the truth is it's not about a competition between, you know, this girl and the next. It's really about you accepting who you are, being confident with that, and then showcasing it. You know, I don't think you can ever lose in that sense if you can win the competition in your brain, because I think a lot of girls also do probably question themselves on a daily basis. You know, am I pretty enough? Am I this enough? So I feel like for me, the pageant journey is really about discovering, you know, your inner self per se. But the map in general so far, beautiful girls are involved, as in they're so lovely and caring, and I've actually made heaps of friends already, but it's all been online. I haven't even met these girls in person. It's bizarre. I'm messaging, commenting like we've been friends for years, but I haven't actually met them in person. It's so bizarre how the whole world's changed. But at this stage, you know, we're full steam ahead. Nothing's been said about, you know, cancelling as such. So we're just going to continue on, I guess. We'll wait till we hear from the directors, and they were former, contestants as well. They won in 2017. So they're actually new directors, which is exciting. And they seem lovely too. You know, we've all been keeping tabs on WhatsApp. Get really nice messages from them regularly, actually. They're very supportive. They comment on everything, and they always make you feel very special. So I've really enjoyed being a part of Miss Australia pageant, because from day one they've communicated, they've kept me in the loop, and they make you feel special. And I think that's nice to feel like, oh, they're noticing you, or they're, you know, they're just kind of watching your journey as you go along. And we've got beautiful sponsors as well, and they're always sending random things to us, and I'm like, oh, what's in the mail today? Love mail delivery.
That's a good surprise to have, especially during quarantine, to have unexpected surprises in the post that aren't bills. When is this Australia pageant? What's your next event for it, or when is the actual pageant?
Oh, you know what? That is a fantastic question, but I think due to COVID, there isn't actually a date. So we're kind of just trying to stay positive. I've made my assumption. I think, given that Melbourne, we finished lockdown, we're meant to in 3 weeks. Whether or not that changes or stays the same, up in the air. But let's just say lockdown did finish, and we were, you know, going back to stage 3 or 2, and things were changing. I would make the assumption that maybe perhaps in November, closer to December, perhaps. I'd say November, December would be probably a more happier, more relaxed time, because I don't think in Melbourne or in Australia generally we can just go from being in lockdown for 6 weeks straight back to stage 1 and to normality. I think it has to be staggered. So I'm making, analytical pattern of my own. And I mean, there's no evidence or whatever. This is just me having my fingers crossed and throwing a day out there and saying, please.
Well, I mean, we're Australians. We love to bet on everything. So maybe we should start betting. We should start a betting pool as when it's going to be held. What state is it going to be held in? Is it Queensland?
You're so funny. I think so, yes, off memory. Unless, of course, they're changing states. We can only hope.
The problem is, that even if Victoria, Melbourne finishes its lockdown, Queensland is going to have to let us in because Queensland doesn't want people from Victoria.
I know. I feel like an outsider. And that's what I'm nervous about. I think, oh my gosh. And I look up I'm looking at Instagram. I see all my friends' stories and they're surfing. They're having milkshakes on the beach. And I'm like sitting on my couch and I can't leave after 8 p.m. I just want to be able to have a toasted sandwich on the beach, but I can't. So it's a bit sad. I'd love to go to Queensland.
Well, it's a lovely place to have a pageant, let's put it that way. But I just remember their premier saying that New South Wales is the worst state and they weren't going to be lectured by us as to whether they should open their borders or not.
Yeah. It's very cranky.
Yeah, I mean, our Prime Minister said today or yesterday that he's encouraging our states to open their borders by Christmas. So, having it in November or December, that might be pushing your luck a little bit, but we'll have to see.
I know. I mean, look, I did actually say, I was saying to my family the other day, I said, look, if I can just have Christmas with you, I'll be really happy. Yeah. So that's my wish this Christmas is just to be with my family and to be able to have that day with them. So that's my main thing, because that's hard. I think for anyone in Melbourne right now, we're missing our family and friends, and there's daily sacrifices that have to be made. But there's just a whole, and then we had bizarre winds. I think it was yesterday. Gosh, no, I think it was the day before that. We had bizarre winds, and there was all these accidents with trees and road, and a poor guy, he actually just bought a brand new car, and an hour into parking his car in the driveway, a tree fell on it. Can you imagine? He hasn't even had time to get insurance. That's just so sad. I felt really sad for that guy.
That sounds Melbourne weather in a nutshell to me, though. Melbourne weather is just so. I've had a tree fall on my car, full disclosure, so I know what it's like. I was working as a tennis coach, and I was on the court, and my car was within. I could still see it, and then there was it wasn't actually a storm. It was just very hot. Apparently trees, sometimes their branches fall down, not just when it's windy, but when it's very hot. And I heard this crunch, and all the kids started pointing at a car and started laughing. And I couldn't see what they were laughing at. And I got closer and realized it was my car that was under the tree. So I do feel sorry for that guy.
My heart sinks. Yeah, look, I really did think that was sad. But then, I don't think people have had electricity for a day, 2 days, some people. So, I mean, I'm thinking I'm microwaving my meal. Other people aren't. So I felt lucky that I could microwave my dinner. You'd hate to lose your electricity. I mean, the one thing I really use is my microwave, believe it or not. I mean, I can handle the lights off. I use a candle, but the microwave gone, no.
You can't use a candle to cook your microwave dinner?
Yeah, seriously. I just love it. It's like it's just the best invention because, I'm on light and easy at the moment just because, look, to be honest, it is light and it is easy. It's just the best thing in Melbourne. In 2020, I've come across a lot of things that I like, pageant world being 1, 2, light and easy, best thing I've ever gotten onto. So I've just lost about 9 kilos on it. And I'm trying to get back to when I was, literally went on the scales yesterday and thought this is fantastic. But when you find that balance as well, it's amazing what you can do with the right nutrition, and I suppose portion size is huge as well. But I think it's just when you're in lockdown, for example, and you've got the cupboard right in front of you and you can't leave the house, it's very hard. That's why I call light and easy.
I think a lot of us during lockdown have begun resembling potatoes just because you're living right next to all the chocolate and the chips, and you literally have to not buy it, because if you buy it, you're going to eat it because it's sitting right there and you've got nothing to do except watching Netflix. And of course, when you watch Netflix, you're going to reach for the glass of wine and the crisps and chocolate. And if you're in preparation for a pageant, those two don't go very well together.
Yeah, it's been, look, lockdown 101, is it 101? I think they're calling it 100, whatever. Second lockdown. I thought I've got to do something about this, because if I continue eating the amount of chocolate I'm eating, it's just so easy to do. It really is. I'll be honest, I am Cassie and I'm a chocoholic. It is the way that it is. I can't help it. My love affair with chocolate will never end. But Light and Easy came to save the day for a bit. But don't worry, I will continue at some point.
You're on Light and Easy. I mean, chocolate is easy as well. It's just not light. Chocolate is very easy. It's right there. You don't even need the microwave for chocolate.
I know. It's deceiving, because you hold a piece of chocolate, you think, gee, that's light. But when you eat it, nah. It's like a magic trick, gone all wrong.
Funny. Let me just. Roz here's written, "You are so beautiful, natural, and funny. A pleasure to watch." And
Roz,
I wrote that your passion for fundraising inspires us all.
Thank you, Emily. That is very kind. And Roz, you get me all emotional. You are. My gosh. No, it's all right. I can hold it together. I'm good.
I've had people cry on interviews before. It's a little bit awkward. I don't know what to do.
I'm too funny. I feel like my brain won't allow me to, because I feel like, I can hold off. No, if I watch The Notebook, though, there's no chance. Like, if I watch Titanic, that's it. It's gone. It's gone. The restraint's gone.
I have not watched The Notebook, and I refuse to. I did watch a Titanic, and the only thing I can remember about Titanic is at the end, when she's on that plank of wood and he's in the water. I'm looking at it going, there's enough space for him to be on the plank. Why doesn't she just let him up? And now there's all these memes around why she wouldn't let him up.
You're so funny. That's so funny. It's true. They actually did the mathematical statistics behind it, and apparently, yes, he could fit. And then they did, actually, this was interesting. I think it was last year. I messaged my mum and I said, "Mum, you're not going to believe it. There's a Titanic 2. And she said, "You're kidding." I said, "No." And so then we ended up watching the shorts for it, and it was just a made-up one. But it looks so real, and it was very sad.
How can you have Titanic 2? The bloody thing sunk. I mean, they're going to make
because we thought that they might have miraculously been saved. I was fully convinced there was a Titanic 2. I was actually genuinely very sad. Now, seriously though, why aren't you watching The Notebook? It's iconic. You need to move past it.
Everyone talks about, all the girls talk about how, they all watch it and they start crying about it, and I'm just listening to this going, no, that doesn't sound like my cup of tea. I love action movies and silly movies, comedies and things like that. I can't watch that sort of movie.
I get you.
By myself anyway. Maybe some other time, but The Notebook is not on my to-view list. I've been given a lot of stuff that I have to watch, apparently.
Yeah.
But The Notebook, thankfully, is not on that list. There's a lot of stuff that I've been told I have to watch about serial killers. I don't know if you know about this, but pageants are famous for being fascinated with serial killers. I do not know why, and they're fascinated with crime scene investigators. I also do not know why.
I have watched recently The Call. Was it called The Call? No, I'm trying to think. What was it? It was fantastic. The Fall, not The Call. I'm thinking of Halle Berry. Sorry, The Fall. It's got the guy off 50 Shades of Grey. Can't think of the actor's name right off the top of my head right now. But yeah, that's really worth watching. Mum and I watched that for about a month straight. It's called The Fall. Note it in your brain, because it's definitely worth a watch. And How to Get Away with Murder as well. That's a top show. You'd love that.
I think that one has been mentioned to put on my list. So, I've got weird things on my list. Everyone is telling me that I need to watch all these serial killers and documentaries about Dharma and about Marilyn Is it Manson? I can't remember which Manson. Manson.
Recent. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's interesting. Well, I've been watching The Lord of the Rings recently. I've taken I've gone a trip down memory lane, and I've started going through all of the trilogies. I think I can never say trilogy. Yeah, trilogy. Thank you. Exactly right. You got Spider-Man, you got Lord of the Rings, because I'm trying to think of, all the series, because there's nothing better than having a full-blown movie marathon. I'm big on that. I used to have a DVD collection of over 3,000, I reckon, back when I was younger. But yeah, some girls have shoe collections. I had DVD collections. I used to spend a lot of time in JB.
That's one thing that we probably don't have anymore, because everything's
I know.
gone.
Well, you can imagine with fundraising, what do you think I did with them all? I gave them all away for charity this year. And it took me like 15 years. Yeah. I've helped someone out there, so it's nice. But now Netflix is the go-to.
That looks like is that a Welsh name? Or is that
Lulu. Oh, Prison Break. She's saying you should get onto Prison Break. Yeah. It's worth watching too. The
problem with people suggesting this is I have a very addictive personality. So if I start watching something, I literally can't stop until I see the whole thing. If I like it, if I don't like it, I'll stop straight away.
Oh,
but
gosh.
I have to be very careful starting anything that's on a Netflix or Disney Plus, because you can just watch the whole thing back to back, and before you know it.
Star Wars, yep, 100%. Yeah, that's a big one. You start Star Wars, you're not going to sleep for a long time.
Don't get me started on Star Wars. I'm not a huge fan of the direction Star Wars took, so...
No, look, we're all depressed. I know it's sad and it is hard, but you're going to be okay. You're going to get through this.
I went on a massive rant after one of the Star Wars movies. I hated it. I can't remember which. I think it was the first one of the new ones, and I just went on a rant. And my best friend, he just thought it was hilarious and recorded the whole thing of me being on a rant, because
you needed donuts. Yep.
I needed a drink, not a donut. I needed a drink.
That's what we need.
Apart from the teaching and the pageantry, what do you do during your downtime, if you have any? Do you have any hobbies?
Yes, I do. Gosh, where do we begin? Well, Spud Muffin, who's my German Shorthair pointer, he is almost a year old, but he's still classified as a puppy. He does take a considerable amount of time out of my day, between running after him and the toilet paper that he has in his mouth, to running outside and trying to catch my phone, which is in his mouth. That does take a lot of time.
How does he have both? How does he have both the phone and the toilet paper at the same time?
No, these are separate occasions. I swear there could be a series. I was speaking to Lulu, who's probably watching as we speak, but we're going to develop a picture storybook. And we're going to get together and we are going to develop a few. And there is going to be a series about my dog, because I genuinely think he would be a fantastic character, cartoon, in a future picture storybook. Because all of my kids who I've been Zooming with twice a day at school, because, everything's virtual nowadays, he's basically the mascot now. So between, Zoom meetings and him, the kids decided that he should be famous. So I thought I might give that a crack.
Can you tell me about Captain Underpants?
Very loved. Very loved character.
Yesterday, and my best friend was telling me about it, because I went to Woolworths and they have Ushies, and he was telling me how Coles, and I had no idea what they are, and how Coles had Captain Underpants, and I just thought, that is the worst superhero name I've ever heard of. I didn't realize it was a children's book.
It is. That's right.
Right. Okay.
It is big. And Diary of a Wimpy Kid goes off the charts. They are all obsessed. So keep that in your notebook. If you ever interview a little one, you'll have lots to chat about then. But no, they do love that book and that story. I'm just trying to think. Gosh, the days are going so rapidly fast at the moment between, baking and, I mean, look, I do love to bake, but I love to eat as well. That takes time. But look, I am a very mixed combo. Trust me, I'm as random as they come because, I feel like between singing in the shower, which I do actually love to sing, that does take up a portion of your day when you find your favorite song and then you end up chucking on clothes, dancing around the house. Just because you're not professionally doing it doesn't mean it's not a hobby. But no, my girlfriends do think I can actually sing, but I have been debating whether or not I have the confidence to actually sing in front of people. So that's a debatable thing at the moment. Might.
You like to demonstrate it now?
Oh gosh, yeah.
Sing us a song.
As enticing as that would be, I haven't done my vocal warm-ups and I probably don't have the right attire on, probably need to go get a hat as well. I will, how about this? If I have the confidence / courage, I will record myself singing a very fabulous song and I will send it to you and then you can post it later because I feel like this is a preparation thing.
So look, the two things that I am notorious for in interviews, one, if someone says they can do an accent, I get them to do their accent, and the other one is singing. As soon as someone says singing, I'm always trying to get people to sing during interviews.
Part of me thinks I might end the interview on it, not sure. Give me like 5 minutes and I'll process it. But no.
Start doing vocal warm-ups then.
Yeah, well, that's right. As we're talking, I'm warming up for sure. I'm just kidding.
All right. So just
yes,
we always end up with the final 10 questions to wrap things up.
To wrap it up,
before we go to the final 10, is there anyone that you want to just give a shout out to or say thanks to for supporting you along your...
Yeah, gosh, where do I begin? I'll probably just say a massive shout out to all the support from the Roval community. I really appreciate, the newspaper articles I've had from the Roval Listwood newspaper. Thank you. Really, really appreciate Sharon from Salon 11. You've been an absolutely beautiful person inside and out. Very appreciative all the time and love you've given me. And I've got Berwick and Bathroom Renovations. Thank you, Nick, for supporting me with my Miss Australia pageants journey. Really appreciate it. And I've got my Megan, the photographer. You're amazing. She's actually, been, I can't get over it, the amount of support that I've had. But from all my, sponsors, just generally speaking, you know who you are. If I haven't mentioned you, it's because my brain's gone blank. But I just say a big thank you in general for people being so caring and supportive and, positive on all the Instagram and Facebook and just, making my journey more enjoyable. So, yeah. Oh, thanks, Mum, for raising me as well. Probably should say that.
Yeah, you probably couldn't have done this without her having given birth to you.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's go through the final 10 questions. So you don't have to answer them quickly. It's not some sort of speed round. You can take your time if you want to, but if you want to answer them quickly, then feel free to do so as well. So question 1, what is your favorite word?
At the moment, watermelon, because I've been really obsessed with the song, Watermelon Sugar, and the rest.
Any song that's been on TikTok just immediately sets me off. Okay. All right. Yeah. Question 2, what is your least favorite word?
That's interesting. Least favorite word. I hate to say it because I feel like everyone does say it, but it really is just such a eerie word. I've just never been a fan of it. And I know people say it all the time, but it's just...
Point, isn't it?
Yes, it is, because it's just so like, moist. It's just like, it just comes off your tongue like, I don't know, moist. Ooh, ah. Don't know why.
So, you said you bake. How do you describe a cake that's moist then without using the M word?
Delicious. No, I don't know. I have no idea. There is no other way except to call it a perfect bake.
Because I was having this discussion with someone the other day. It's like, you can't call it wet.
No, you can't call it wet and dry.
Yeah. So
you can't call it slimy because no one's going to want to eat a slimy cake per se unless it's Halloween themed.
Question 3. In life, what gets you excited? What turns you on?
Oh, what turns me on? Well, what gets me excited? Parties. I love to party. In general, yeah. I think just, you know what? I'm going to say party / going out with the girls, because it actually does. I actually love going out with my friends. It's my favorite thing to do. It like really gets me up and going. If I know that I've got a party to go to or a reason to get dressed up, just blows my mind. So I just, definitely think that's one thing. And I feel like the other is planning events. I love planning parties. That's my second favorite, going to them and planning them. I stay up to 3 a.m. in the morning planning events just because I love to. Like, it literally drives me. Love getting people together. I'm very big on community.
Sounds good. Question 4. What turns you off?
Off. What turns me off? To be honest, I'm not a big fan of, smelly socks, to be honest. I can't think of anything right now except that. Maybe it's because I found them on the floor this morning and I was just like, you know what? I'm not a fan of smelly socks. Don't know.
It's a reasonable answer, but I struggle to think of anyone who would be a fan of smelly socks. I mean, if you're watching this and you're a fan of smelly socks, please let Cassie know.
Yeah. I mean that and lots of mud. Not a big fan of mud, I guess. Yeah, my dog bringing mud into the house. There you go. That's a new hate. It's a pet hate, actually. Haha, double meaning. It is a pet hate. The mud in the house. Sorry, that was a bad dad joke.
There's no such thing as a good dad joke. A good dad joke is a bad joke. That's what a dad joke is. It's a bad joke.
Oh, is it now?
Question 5. What sound or noise do you love?
It's going to sound really weird, but it's kind of like how I end some conversations with my friends. It's weird, but Lulu will be laughing because it's true. I'm being honest when I say this, but I just love it. It's like one of my favorite sounds, and we just kind of, it's like a see you later, bye. But instead we do that. I don't know if it's like a voice singing thing, but it just came out one day, and then that's how we ended our conversations.
How do you spell that?
I don't know. Just blah, 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 blah. It's a B-L-O, blah, blah, blah. I don't know.
This is what happens when you work with young kids. This is what happens. You gradually lose your sanity.
I mean, yes, I am definitely a theatrical person. I used to be in musicals a lot, so maybe that's where it comes from.
Question 6. What sound or noise do you hate?
There's a very high-pitched howl that my dog does when I leave him by himself for too long, and it's like on another level of pitch. I don't even know if it's like a human pitch, but when he does it, it's like a horror movie when you're just like, oh gosh, like the chalk on the board, like that's one thing I hate, right? But then that comes correlating next to it. It's a high-pitched howl when you're watching your favorite series. Yeah.
It's always at the worst moments, isn't it? Right when you're in the part, and then the dog has to start howling. They know when to stop.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, it's a great howl. I mean, I'm not very good at imitating it. I probably shouldn't have a go at it. I might freak you out a bit, but yeah, I mean, it's definitely out there.
Okay, question 7. Any one superpower, what would you pick and why?
Can making wishes come true be a superpower? Power. Can it be a power?
Yeah,
I'd like to be able to do that. Yeah. Yeah, I would. I would like to grant wishes because then I could go around and just, change people's lives one by one. I'll just circulate the whole earth and yeah, there you go. Make everyone's wishes come true. That guy that's been desperately waiting to talk to that lovely teacher on a, park bench, or that little kid that can't blow a bubble to impress his big brother, changing the world.
Question 8. What job or occupation other than your own would you most like to attempt?
Oh, okay, yes. I would love to be a dolphin trainer. I always have been. But Mum said I'd have to move to Queensland if I was being serious. And I'd also have to study biology.
How long does it take to become a dolphin trainer?
Oh, I can't think now. You've put me on the spot now. I don't know. I think I would make the assumption over a year at least, just because you'd have to have practical training. I did have that answer, but I'll research that and get back to you.
Okay. All right. Question 9. What job would you definitely not like to attempt?
I would not like to be a professional, what would you call it, stunt person. I'm not big on heights and jumping off platforms. I see it a lot on Facebook, and there's always deals, go, bungee jumping for $50 or whatever. And I'm like, no, you couldn't pay me. You could not pay me to jump out of a plane to this day. Never. No.
I think that's fair enough. Final question.
Yes.
If heaven exists, what would you like to hear God say when you arrive at the pearly gates?
I would probably like to be serenaded with a song, and that song being related to something inspirational. It's coming to me. But yeah, I would like to be serenaded. So instead of being spoken to, I'd like to be sung to, and something like maybe from Aretha Franklin. I don't know, something historic. If that's allowed. I decided I might as well have a musical end.
Well, there's no one to say that God is a man. God could be a woman as well. So
yeah, well, whoever it may be, as long as they grace me with a smile.
That sounds good. Well, Cassie, guys, if you have any more messages for Cassie, put them in the comments now. But Cassie, thank you so much for your time.
Oh, it's been a pleasure. I've really enjoyed having a chat with you. It's been very enlightening, fun. In fact, it's really given me some time to reflect on all these different questions and elements. So I really appreciate your time as well. So I know you're, giving me this hour out of your day. I'm assuming it's very, very busy with all your pageant work. So I am very grateful. And I know, you've probably got to attend to your hair and your makeup. I'm just playing.
This can be deceiving. I mean, that's all I'm going to say. I don't know anything about hair or makeup, but I probably should find out. Obviously, I know enough people who could probably give me some pointers. Leanne here has said you're natural. Taylor here has said, well done, Cassie. So proud of you.
Thank you.
And Lucinda, the reason I asked you about the Welsh name is because I work with a lot of people in the UK, including Welshies, and the double L is very famous in Welsh. So I wasn't sure if you were tuning in from Wales or not. But she said, love you. You're amazing. So proud of you. XOX.
That's so sweet. Oh, they stayed till the end. Well, you know what? That's beautiful. Oh,
that's what friends are for. Did you want to sing
that? I thought you were going to sing that. You know what? I'm just like, I've got to build the confidence up to do it. Oh, I'm kicking myself now. I think, oh, come on, Cassie, put yourself out of your comfort zone. I'm self-talking, but it's just like, oh, I sang in the shower this morning.
Okay, all right. You're all sung out then. Okay, the song has left. It will come back at some time, and then we can have another go.
I promise it'll happen. I will do it, and you'll be like, "Wow."
What were you singing in the shower this morning?
Ain't no mountain high enough. You know,
that's a good song to sing in the shower.
Dun, dun. It just gets you in the mood. You know, I just really love it because it just makes you think I can do it. Today's the day. You know.
All righty, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Cassie, I'll keep you on the line for just a sec whilst I hang up with the audience.
Totally can.
Thanks so much to everyone for watching, whether it's live or on the replay. And we will speak to you again very soon. What's up, guys? It's Adrian again. Hope you enjoyed this episode. Remember to head over to pageantlaunch.com. Join our launch team for our review site. It's super important to all of us to make sure that the industry is safe, transparent, and fair. So head over to pageantlaunch.com, write in your email address, and we'll speak to you next time.